What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I really want to talk about all of the things that I would do differently if I were applying to PA school all over again, knowing what I know now. I know that the new cycle is upon us. It is coming up very soon at the end of April. It always opens at the end of April. CASPA, for those of you that aren't as familiar with it, it is the centralized application service for physician assistants for PA students that are applying to school. So this is the centralized application that you'll use to add all of those programs that you want to apply to and find that dream program of yours. So that application always opens at the end of April. So with it being now the middle of February, some of you might be getting some anxiety about applying to PA school and kind of what to expect. I've come up with 5 things that I would do differently if I were applying to PA school again. And the first one, probably one of the most important things in your application, is your personal statement. Now, when I went to write my personal statement, I did not even start it until the month of May. Like I said, your application opens in April, so you can submit it as early as the week following if you have everything ready to submit. So I didn't start writing my personal statement until May, and it took me a good month before it was finally finished. All of my editing and revisions, and once I had other PAs read it and friends and family of mine, it took me a full month. It was a very long process. It stressed me out at the time knowing that my application was just sitting there waiting for me to basically finish my personal statement. So if you're sitting there right now watching this video in February before the application starts, I would honestly recommend starting on your personal statement as soon as possible. The sooner the better. Brainstorm topics to write about. The prompt is 5,000 characters. It is basically asking you why you wish to become a physician assistant. And that might sound like a super easy thing to address, but once you sit down and try to write something that admissions committees are really gonna like and respond to, it can get very difficult. You get writer's block, you run out of things to talk about, and 5,000 characters can feel like an eternity, can take forever to try and fully finish that personal statement. And it doesn't have to be a full 5,000 characters. You can end around 4,500. It's just, that is your maximum, that's your limit. So like I said, start now, brainstorm ideas of what you want to write about. Think about some impactful experiences that you've had with patients through maybe your own patient care experience as an EMT or as a CNA or a medical assistant, whatever it is that you've done before PA school, and try to highlight those experiences and how they've kind of shaped you as an individual and helped you want to become a PA now that you're going on to this next step of life. Number 2 would be to apply to those schools that actually match your stats on paper. And what do I mean by that? Well, when I was applying to PA school, I basically made up a list of these programs that I thought looked really good on paper. They seemed pretty competitive, but at the end of the day, I didn't really match them on paper. And what I mean by that is my stats, my specific GPA, my patient care experience, my volunteer hours, all this stuff that's listed on programs' websites. A few of those categories, especially my patient care experience, I might have been thousands and thousands of hours off. My GPA was pretty competitive. I had a 3.8, 3.9 overall GPA when it came to apply to PA school. So in that regard, I felt very competitive, but these other programs where incoming classes had, say, 5, 6, 7,000 hours of patient care experience, I just wasn't as competitive when I applied to those programs because I only had 1,300 hours of patient care experience. So if you can look at your stats on paper and find programs that more closely match you, you're gonna be more competitive and you're gonna have a better chance at getting accepted to PA school, just keeping that in mind. Number 3 kind of draws on number 2 in regard to the patient care experience that I was talking about, and that would be to earn my patient care experience sooner. So like I said, I only had around 1,300 hours. It was enough for me because my GPA was competitive to where I didn't necessarily need to put in 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 hours of patient care experience for my application to look really good. I did not start working as a CNA until my junior year of undergrad, so it gave me very little time to earn patient care experience. Had I started that sooner, say freshman year of undergrad, I could have worked part-time all 4 years and had 2 to 3 times the amount of patient care experience that I had when I applied to PA school. So if I were you, I would get your patient care experience as soon as possible. It's gonna make you more competitive at the end of the day. The 4th thing, something I totally wish I would have done differently, was just simply doubted myself less. Throughout the whole application process, I just had in the back of my mind that I was gonna be repeating this the following year because no one was gonna give me any interviews, no one was gonna be interested in my application. I didn't have enough patient care experience. I thought I needed a 4.0 GPA. I would spend time reading forums online of people who were applying to PA school and who in the past had posted their statistics, and they'd have 4.0 GPAs, 5,000 hours of patient care experience, and I just thought to myself that there's not a chance in the world that I'm going to get accepted to PA school. But I applied to 11 programs and I got interviews at 7 of them, so clearly I was more than competitive enough to apply to PA school. Many programs looked at my application and felt that I was a suitable candidate, but I just didn't necessarily see that in myself. It made the application process more stressful. That whole summer of 2016, that's when I applied. That whole summer I was stressed out, especially after you hit that submit button on your application and you're just simply waiting to hear back from programs. It can be very stressful. So if I wouldn't have doubted myself as much, I feel like I would have just had a better overall outlook on the application process itself. So be confident in yourself. So at the end of the day, whatever stats you have on paper, there's nothing you can change about that whenever you decide it's time for you to apply to PA school. You just give it your best shot and see what programs tell you. If you do find out that you weren't competitive enough and programs, waitlist you or simply reject your application, that's totally fine. That just means you have this next year to either get more patient care experience, retake a few classes, and raise that GPA, but it absolutely does not mean that you have to give up on trying to get into PA school. Last but not least, number 5, do not underestimate all these supplemental applications that are a part of the CASPA application itself. I did apply to 11 programs, like I mentioned earlier, and that means I had 11 supplemental applications to go through. And these are basically additional applications that are specific to the programs that you're applying to. So CASPA will record all of your information that is not specific to any one program, and then the supplemental applications are the ones where they'll ask you, why you want to apply to our program, what makes you a good fit for our program, how do your beliefs align with our mission statement and things like that. So there are smaller essays that you have to complete and have to put thought into as well. And if you apply to 10, 11, 12 programs, it can take a long time for these supplemental applications to be complete. So definitely keep that in mind. It's not just the CASPA application that you're trying to complete, it's all the supplemental applications as well. And they're just as important as your personal statement. All these smaller essay questions there are just as important as your personal statement, because those are the questions that these individual programs are specifically looking at as to why you want to attend their program. So in summary, if you can start on your personal statement as soon as possible, apply to schools that match your statistics on paper, don't doubt yourself, earn patient care experience sooner rather than later, and really give it your all in the supplemental applications. You're gonna be set up far better than I was when applying to PA school. You're gonna have a better chance at getting accepted. I hope this video really helps you and gives you some perspective going into the application process. Good luck to everyone that's applying this cycle. I have other videos throughout my channel that can help you, especially the ones relating to the CASPA application itself. I can link those here now. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.